And since John likes to be a little chatterbird today, how about you kick us off, John? Green Bay versus Minnesota. I think you called that you thought Minnesota had a real chance to steal it. I thought that they could steal it.
I,
Rodgers for a second year in a row blunder in Green Bay. What do you think? Question marks or no concern?
well, I had the Packers taking this one, but I expect David Bakhtiari and Elton Jenkins were both questionable to play. They were on the injury report, and the Packers have always been one of the more conservative teams with injuries. But I'm saying to myself, I at least think Jenkins is going to play, and they're really just using that to throw off the Vikings and their rookie head coach. But ultimately, neither of those two played. It's kind of funny. The line for this game, the betting odds actually changed because Alan Lazard was out. Oh, scary. And ultimately, on Rodgers' first attempt of the game, if I'm not mistaken, throws a beautiful football to Christian Watson, and Marquez Valdez Scantling fashion just goes right through his fingertips. I mean, if you could have given the kid Stickum, I still don't think he would have caught it. If you look at the way the football just went straight through his hands. And I just said to myself, oh man, he took the money, Aaron, but he's going to soon regret this at some point. Now, let me say this. I had the Vikings losing this game, and the Packers every single year, almost with Matt LaFleur, come out lethargic in these games. The Packers looked completely unprepared against the Vikings. The offensive line was terrible. They ran the ball efficiently, but we're seeing, even when he had Devontae Adams, he's never trusted another receiver in the post Jordy Nelson era. The only one was Randall Cobb, so they brought him back. But outside of third down, I mean, Randall Cobb's got nothing. And Sammy Watkins, let's talk about him. I don't know how he's still in the NFL. I don't know what he brings to this Packers team. He's here. He's a veteran. He's been around the league. He used to be that vertical threat. He is not anymore. And I'm saying to myself, look, Aaron does not want to work with these rookies. And I get it. It is frustrating. They're raw and they need seasoning. But the reason why I have the Packers as a top five team, even after this loss, is because of the fact Christian Watson has that take the top over their defense, vertical threat that can absolutely burn Patrick Peterson to a crisp on a go route, and Romeo Dabbs, when you get the football in his hands, he should have been a day two pick at the very least, can add a dimension to this offense that can make up for losing Devontae Adams. You will never replace the telepathy he and Devontae and Aaron had together. But when you look at the running game, it's one of the best in the NFL. Robert Tunyon is healthy. And so now we're going to talk about Jair Alexander. He is healthy as well, one of the best cover corners in the game. The defense should be one of the seven best in the league. And let's say it how it is. Aaron Rodgers, in my opinion, is a top three quarterback, man. Ultimately, it comes down to the Packers saying, you know what, Aaron, have some patience with these young receivers. You have to work with them. You have to figure this thing out because Sammy Watkins is going to do nothing for you in January. And to make a run in the playoffs, you need Christian Watson to make plays for you. So while they benched him after that drop and it was terrible, the Packers, number one, the coaching and overall the offensive line play should be better. But number two, if they want to go all the way this year, it's going to come down to doing something Rodgers has never been comfortable with.
So just to piggyback on that, Christian Watson, they did after that they did bench him and didn't target him for basically the whole game until the fourth quarter, I believe, where he targeted him on one pass. Watson caught it, but on the very next play, they tried like a little bubble screen where Randall Cobb was blocking the receiver, and Watson had no idea the ball was coming to him. Another miscommunication. The DB almost intercepted it. Thank God Randall Cobb was there to break it up, but and Rogers is just like shaking his head like I mean, you're going to play yourself right into the doghouse. You keep making those rookie mistakes, which are rookie mistakes. I look at this game and it's just a lot of miscommunications, rookies playing like rookies. Um, I, I just think, I mean, like you said, John, Jacques Bakhtiari was out. Who was the other guy?
Elton
Jenkins at
Jenkins.
right back. Yeah, he was out. Lazard was out. Their left guard, Runyon, got concussed in the game. He got taken out. And Quay Walker, with a shoulder injury, he left early too. I don't have major concerns with Green Bay. Um, I'm like with Patrick Mahomes, I'm going to put my trust in these elite quarterbacks. I believe that Aaron Rodgers is going to be able to figure it out. There's going to be growing pains. They're young players. I agree with John. I don't know why Sammy Watkins is still here. I mean, he wasn't able to succeed with Patrick Mahomes, not able to succeed with Aaron Rodgers. This guy's a bust. He, Yeah, he never panned out. Yeah, I I'm fine. Listen, Kirk usually plays well against Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. He likes to ball out, I guess. But I think Kirk will end up being Kirk again, and he's just, he's not going to be that guy. He's not.
That's what you're gonna chalk it up to,
Yeah,
Justin.
because again, he's going to happen. All right, yeah, we'll go through the season, and then I'll come back to you
Kirk's
and say,
about to
yeah,
have a
Kirk is
career
still
year.
Kirk.
Justin, I gotta ask
Yeah.
you the question: are we about to see the real Kirk Cousins? Has he been underrated?
I think Kirk Cousins is very disrespected. I mean, but then again, you look at his prime time record. It's you could crap on him all you want, but Kirk Cousins is still a very good quarterback. He's not an average NFL QB. There's a lot of teams that would kill for him, I believe, at the moment. One thing I want to say about the game is apparently Jair Alexander was begging to shadow Justin Jefferson, but instead the Packers just decided to not guard the guy at all. So I don't know what the hell was going on, but Justin Jefferson, an absolute monster. The guy had Cooper Cup numbers in the first half of the game. In the first half of the game. And I remember I asked you guys, is this guy going to have like a Cooper Cup like season now with Kevin O'Connell in the fold? And I think week one just told us, yep, very much so. So, yeah, I believe it might be a career year for Kirk Cousins. I'm with that. I'll ride that train. But I'm very worried about the Packers. AJ Dillon,
Really?
the most receptions on your team receiving, that's a problem.
Does that surprise you?
What, that AJ Dillon led the team in receptions?
I expected that.
I think that's an issue. I don't think this big bulky back should be the leading receiver on your squad. I get it. Yeah, you dink and dunk every now and then, sure, but somebody has to step up. And yeah, Christian Watson, terrible drop to start the game. Obviously, that's not the foot that you want to get off with Aaron Rodgers. But at the same time, this is the hole that you dug, man. You did this. You created this monster. You got all the money. All the money. Devontae Adams could have still been there, man.
And he's the reason they didn't take a receiver in the first round. I don't think it's just because Brian Gutekunst can't draft the wide receivers, but if they invest all of it into a receiver and he doesn't click with Rodgers, they're not going to use him. Look at Amari Rodgers at a Clemson, a third-round pick. Has anyone seen him on the field? It's like he's invisible. And the reason why is if you don't build that connection with Rodgers, you're as good as gone. So this team's not going to invest heavily in a receiver, and that's ultimately part of Rodgers' problem. I say to myself, though, Justin, I'm not worried about this Packers team because they're nowhere near full strength. They have all these guys coming back, and the defense should be better. Like you were saying before, going zone against this Vikings group when you have the perfect man corner to go one-on-one on Justin Jefferson makes no sense because we knew they were going to find ways to get Justin Jefferson the ball. Now, real quick on the Vikings, I want to say this. Kirk Cousins, he's better than Dak Prescott, Brandon, a quarterback you're very high on. And we were seeing yesterday with better protection with Brian O'Neill at right tackle and Christian Darrisaw at left tackle. When he had the time in the pocket and a pass-first offense, he looked fantastic. He was getting the ball to Chetas, and with the healthy Adam Thielen, they didn't even have to use him that much. This Vikings offense is one of the best in the NFL, and we're going to see this year. Kirk Cousins, he may make a Pro Bowl, he may not. Ultimately, the Vikings have as good of a chance as it gets to winning this division. And I think, quite honestly, if, and this is a huge if, they stay healthy with Danielle Hunter, Zadarius Smith, who lit A.J. Dillon on his backside like you wouldn't believe, and Harrison Smith, this Vikings team can win a couple of playoff games.
And I think a lot of things played in Vikings' favor. I think Kirk Cousins playing out of his mind usually against the Packers. Zadarius Smith, like you just said, I mean, he had an axe to grind with the Green Bay Packers, and he played out of his mind. One thing I do got to say, I don't even think if Rodgers took less money, Devontae would still be there. I think he wanted to get the hell out of Green Bay because I think he was tired of Aaron Rodgers' bull crap and just the retire, not retire, and retire, not retire. It's just he didn't want to deal with that.
He didn't want to be stuck in love.
Yeah, and especially love, and especially
Don't
the
laugh at
connection.
him.
No love, no love.
Don't laugh at him.
Especially the connection with Carr. So it was like a match made. It's just, yeah. I don't believe in these Minnesota Vikings. I don't believe in Kirk Cousins.
This is what Kirk does. Dude, you're disrespecting the team. Look, Mike Zimmer and the secondary was the problem. It was never Kirk Cousins. Now you have an energetic, young, innovative head coach that knows what he's doing on the offensive side of the ball. Kirk was probably miserable working with Mike Zimmer in those years. Based off of everything we've seen, I would have hated to work with Zimmer. And now you add in the right guy for the job who can take this team to another level. They're like the Chargers in the NFC. People talk about it all the time. A team that's great on paper, but due to injuries, due to limitations, they always underachieve. But with Kirk Cousins, he's going to show people this year he is not elite, but he's a very good quarterback. One of the 12 best in the game. He's better than Dak. And you think Dak's good enough to bring the Cowboys to playoffs. The Cowboys now, their year's over. So that playoff spot's going to somebody, whether it's New Orleans, Minnesota. And guess what? Honestly, I already had the Vikings a playoff team before his injury. So look, man, I think the Vikings this year can win 12 games. And the defense especially was very impressive when it's healthy with Eric Hendricks and Harrison Smith. You add in the two young rookies in the back end as well. That can be pretty good as well.
Yeah, but I'm not saying they won't be a playoff team. I'm just saying they're not going to do anything with it.
You just said I don't believe in Kirk Cousins, but I'm telling you,
I
man,
don't believe in Kirk Cousins. I've said before he's a numbers guy. He's going to put up great numbers. That box score is going to look beautiful with Kirk Cousins as your quarterback. But in primetime games, he will lose you the big one.
we really haven't seen it yet. I mean, he was playing Washington. Look at Washington post him. They haven't found the quarterback, and we're 6 years into this thing.
All right, but that was because Washington traded their entire future for RG3, so they were stuck.
But they were a lot more competitive with Kirk. I mean, I'm sure now they'll love to have him.
Yeah, sure. All right. Listen, I just got to say, Kirk Cousins, I don't know. This is the guy that is the first ever fully guaranteed contract in NFL history. That's an indictment.